into the Discord here.
I already have it pulled up. The
Yeah,
first
pulled up.
question on the, you want me to? Well, you go ahead. You're the host.
Technically, it's you first. Let's see. Our first question comes in from Survivalist. How did Pops become a hardcore fan of wrestling, and did he ever want to become a wrestler?
All right. Well, I guess this is all on me. I became a hardcore wrestler January 13th, 1980. I was watching the. Back then, you had three channels on your television, and that's the only way you got it. It was all WWF. It was WWF wrestling. Uh, in my area at this time. Later on, we'll hear about the cable. But anyways, so we had gotten wrestling, and I'm watching the weekly show, and in the ring was a Bruno Sammartino, and he was talking with Larry Sabisco, and Larry Sabisco and was his Bruno Sammartino was his mentor, let's say. And what he ended up doing was they got into an argument. Larry hit him over the head with a chair. Now, back in those days, they were like wooden chairs. They weren't even metal chairs or anything like that. Um, so blah blah blah. I gotta pull this up because I gotta see. Um, hit him with the wooden chair, and all of a sudden, big X, big red X, come on the screen. And let me tell you, fucking 10-year-old me, I was hooked ever since that day. I was like, what the fuck is this? There's blood and you can't see it. Because back then you weren't allowed to show blood on television, anything like that. Um, so that's how I became the hardcore fan of wrestling and stuff like that. The answer to the other question, what was the question?
Did you ever want to? Did you ever
Oh,
want
did
to
I ever
become
want
a
to be?
wrestler?
Yes, now let's fast forward about 2, 3 years later. I got cable. Okay. And then I started getting into all the other wrestlings and stuff like that. And I used to go to Springfield Civic Center had a wrestling match once a month, like a house show type deal in Springfield Civic Center. So my buddy, God, Michael Phelps, R.I.P.
Not
Michael.
the swimmer.
Um, he used to bring me to bring us. We used to go. I used to go with him. His grandfather ran security, so he used to get us into the back. So I met many a superstars back then, and this and that. But one of the people I did meet that was Pat Patterson. And Pat Patterson, I was standing by like a Coke machine thing with Michael and stuff. And Pat came over and he was talking to me and he put his hand on my shoulder and he was like, you're a big guy and this and that. And I was like, okay, yeah, yeah, I am. And stuff like that. But you see, now years later, this story could be touched as something wrong. But because of all the things we knew about Pat Patterson, I didn't know he liked to groom young boys back then. But he was like in charge of the talent relations. So as he's talking to me, he's like, "You ever think about becoming a wrestler?" And I was like, "Hell, fuck yeah, I'd love to be a wrestler." He's like, "How old are you?" And when I told him 13, he's like, "Oh, usually we don't take people at the school until like 16. But if you got your parents' permission, and this, that." And as he's saying this, he kind of rubbed his hand. He was rubbing my back, and he kind of touched my butt. So I was touched by Pat Patterson. But